Well, they're easy to fish, great for all ages, and always holding something beneath the pilings where East access meets big action.
That's right, from catfish to crappies in Texas lakes to redfish and trout along the coast, and docks and piers are producing. This week on the Texas Insider Fishing Report, which starts now.
Welcome to the Texas Insider Fishing Report. Presented by Yamaha.
Welcome to the Texas Insider Fishing Report. We're your hosts, Bree Gabrielle and Captain Rick Murphy. And you know what? We love a good theme around here. So this week we thought we'd take you to the piers and the docks.
Wow, what do you think about that? You know, the cool part about fishing piers and docks
So many cool things.
is you can be fishing in towards a dock or you can be on the pier throwing out. Never quite understood all those dynamics. That's like the guy standing on the beach casting offshore and the guy fishing off the beach casting towards the shore.
Right, and the easy access is great, like we said.
That's right.
All ages can do it. All right, well, I know Dave Farrell is excited over at the Parts View Workbench, and he has a very special guest joining him, Bobby Lane.
Bobby Lane is here. Major League Fishing Pro. Yeah, you know, Bobby's going to tell us all about what? Fishing docks?
Yeah, man, I'm really excited about this. Rick, thanks for having me down, guys. We are going to be talking about fishing boat docks in Texas and some of my favorite ways to do it, and I have caught some giants in that state, so I'm looking forward to this.
Beauty.
All right.
Yes, and we are so excited to have you here. We are starting off on the piers and docks in the Lower Coast region with Captain Chad Kinney. So tell us what we're reeling in this weekend, Chad.
I tell you what, the weather still remains solid. Looks really great. So this is going to really help the conditions in the bay fishing, also the offshore, and fishing off the docks and piers. Because when you're fishing that, the weather, the wind plays a big part there too. So talking about the piers and the docks, I grew up here when I was a kid fishing off the docks all the time. My parents couldn't get me off it, so I love doing it. It's a great way to do it. So when you're fishing from the piers or the docks, it can be really productive. There's some lighted piers, you can get. You can try fishing them at night for some really good numbers of speckled trout. If you're fishing during the day, then I recommend get out there really early, and then you can try some live croaker free line or some live shrimp. That works really good early in the morning. Been excellent catching trout off the docks here early in the morning right now. You can also try some fresh dead mullet if you want to stick it on a Carolina rig, pretty much. Chunk your way out there, throw in a rod holder while you're using the other rod to fish for your trout. That way you're fishing two rods at once, kind of keep an eye on it, and that's an extra way to get some extra lines out there. Sometimes there's also some black drum that actually kind of show up around the docks and piers and stuff like that. Best thing I can do in this one, if you're doing the cut mullet with the redfish, and switch over, put another line out, or switch it over to the dead shrimp on the bottom. The drum, like the dead shrimp and the scent on that stuff. But definitely get there fishing early or right at the sunset. Definitely look for some lighter winds. Trout green water helps a bunch. If it's blowing 30 or 40, then wait till you get some better conditions on that. But there's plenty of good action, plenty of good fishing on that. Moving over to the inshore, trout fishing has just been good all year long and remains solid right now on the Lower Coast. They're still holding up those deeper grass beds and the drop-offs. It's been really good on the trout bite real early also. We're limiting out. Lots of times we're leaving dock at 6:45. We're done by 7:15, 7:30. The bite's been really good. Some live bait, live croaker, free line is still working really good in those sand pockets by the grass beds. We're using lures, which I started testing some out. They're working really, really good right now. They're starting to hit those better. Saltwater assassin sea shad's working really good. Magic grass is my favorite color in that one. It's working really good. You got to fish those lures right off the top of that grass bed, and especially drop it down the sand pockets if you can see those. If you're up shallow, then try some Berkeley topwater jaywalker, working really good. And while you're looking around to hit your spot or kind of keep an eye open, look for some trout slicks up early in the morning. They'll give you a good idea where they're feeding at and get that trout green water. If you get up real clear, we've got a lot of clear water down here. If you get up really clear and you go, oh man, this looks great and stuff like that, you're not going to have nearly as much action. They like that drop off a little bit deeper in that trout green water. Remember, it's 3 per person, 15 to 20 inch slot size, so there's really good numbers out there. Moving to offshore, it's been really, really good. It's the best season I've seen in years for Dorado, and there also been some wahoo there in the mix by the fads. Like I said, the numbers of Dorado for down here in Texas, it's been kind of off the charts there. We've been averaging double-digit mornings, and all these fish are ranging from 8 pounds up to about 30 pounds or bigger. We're pulling chin-weighted ballyhoos, or you can actually put them naked or add a skirt to it, however you want to do it. When I'm fishing for the Dorado and wahoo and stuff like that, I don't pull a full spread. I pull 3 lines out. So the reason on this, you can make a lot tighter turns to put 2 flat lines out, in one shotgun out the middle, but you can turn a lot quicker by those buoys. You can turn quicker on the bait balls, and lots of times we're getting triple knockdowns on those three, so you really can't handle more than that anyway. So look for those bait balls in the sonar. Also, activity on top of the water. Control your lures at 7.5 to 8 knots for best results. And we're using some Penn 30 wide international, spooled up with some 30-pound Berkeley mono. That's plenty to handle anything you can get into right there. And definitely get up there if you can right now. Between now and, could be up to late October, November before those cold fronts start hitting. As soon as those cold fronts hit, those plots are going to take off. So get out there if you can. It's a good time to go. We got a picture here of our, nothing a monster Dorado, but a good average size Dorado to give you an idea. We had about 15 of those in like 2 hours the other day. So moving over to Wahoo. Wahoo are also in the mix. They're hanging out around the same area by the Fads and 100 Fathom Curve and stuff. When we're fishing for these, we're switching over. We're putting a Savage Max stick on there. We're rigging them definitely with wire. You can put them on a planer or just by itself. Make passes by those Fads and kind of keep an eye on your lines, because sometimes these fish, they're going to just skyrocket, miss your baits, and then they're going to come back down and crash on them. Or you can drop it back and stuff. You can try some ballyhoo, skirted or rigged with wire also, or you can switch to heavy mono if you don't like wire. Then I would definitely go on the mono, go up to like 300 pounds bear, because these guys got really, really sharp teeth. If you're going with the mono or even the wire too, make sure if you get bites, look for any chafing or bends or anything like that, because you need to switch your rigging out. There's a lot of fun. They're great eating. They're fast. And right now they're going to be really good bites between now through October, like I said, on the front there. So we got a picture of a 48-pound wahoo here caught by Keith Judd.
Nice job, bud. Thanks for starting us off, Chad. We'll talk to you a little bit later. Let's take a look at the hot spots from the lower coast region. Chad says that inshore trout fishing remains excellent in the lower coast region. Look for the grass beds and sand pockets of 3 to 5 feet of water. And then offshore, state water red snapper fishing is open and has been good. Good numbers of Dorado and Wahoos out by the 100 Fathom Curve and on the Fad.
What a drool-worthy report that was, let me tell you.
Way to start us off.
Awesome. All right, well, where there's a pier, dock, and no boat in the Heroes on Water Lower Fresh region, there's a way, and Matt Reed is showing it to us. Talk to us, Matt.
All right, Bray, let's kick this thing off. Piers and docks are a wonderful way to enjoy fishing when you don't have access to a boat. Most lakes have public piers or marinas, and they offer tons of opportunity to catch many different species. For an entertaining number of bites, just get some earthworms or crickets and target bluegill. That's a great way to get a lot of action. Catfish are another good option. Simple cut bait or dough bait setups will produce plenty of action for the catfish. And the small live minnow option will give you the possibility of a mixed bag. Crappie, bass, catfish, and many other things will bite them. Find your area docks and piers to pursue the outdoor passion. Everybody needs to, get all the opportunity they can out in God's outdoors. Move on down, we're going to talk about the largemouth. Fayette County has been fair this week. Weather's still hot here in South Texas. The thermocline set up there around 18, 19 feet, and most of the fish are coming right at or above that thermocline. Carolina rigs and drop shots, fished real slow, have been the best way to catch those fish. Green pumpkin, watermelon, and blue fecks are the optimal colors. Bites are slow, with big fish few and far between, as those big fish seem to be suspended. Don't mess with a shallow bite at all right now. Get out there deep immediately. Somerville has been fair. Wacky rig stick baits worked on the outside of the man-made brush piles is one of the options. And a big 10-inch worm on the road beds on the south end of the lake around the island have been your best bet. Red bug and black are by far the best colors there at Somerville. Down in Falcon, the bass are biting pretty well. As typical during late summer and early fall, they're still concentrated on the main lake rock structure and man-made brush piles. The shallow rock houses are giving up a bunch of bites right now on square bill crankbaits. Blueback chartreuse is my number one color. And most of the bigger fish still are showing up on the deeper ledges. The Berkeley Dime 15 crankbait is a great option for those deeper rock ledges. And a Texas rig 10-inch Berkeley power worm with like a 3/8 ounce weight is the number one way to catch those brush pile giants. Those are the two options down there most of the summer and fall to catch your biggest fish. Got a picture of Steve there with a perfect example of what I'm talking about in a Falcon Special.
Nice.
Steve.
Love those big old bass.
Tell us about the redfish, my man.
Jim Bray with Lone Oak Adventures tells me a report from Calaveras Lake outside San Antonio. Water temperature has fallen a little bit lately due to some rain, and that has really caused the redfish to flock to the dam. Large schools can be located using your electronics, cruising the rock lines in that 10 to 20 feet of water. Cast silver spoons, 1 ounce lipless crankbaits, and paddle tail swim baits to have an amazing bite. He got a picture of his client, Mike, with a great redfish, just typical of what they catch out of Calaveras. Ram Reyes sent me a report on the catfish. From down in Falcon, the trophy catfishing has been better at night along the shallow flats right next to the deep water. The fish are sitting in 8 to 10 foot of water, but you might have 30 right by you. Live bluegill or tilapia or big chunks of fresh cut bait have been working best. Those big blue cat are just awesome creatures, and there's a lot of them down there. Ram's got a picture there with him and one of his clients with a big nighttime blue cat. They catch a lot of them.
Man, that looks a lot of fun there, bub. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at the hot spots from the Heroes on the Water Lower Fresh region. Falcon Lake are biting pretty well. Target the shallow rock houses with shallow cranks for tons of bites. And then the bigger bass are more plentiful in the 10 to 15 foot rock structures and man-made brush piles. Don't forget your Berkeley dime crank baits are gonna be the best producers on the rocks, and a Texas rig 10-inch worm on those brush piles. Come on, jump in and get some of that fun. What do you think, Bree?
Well, speaking of fun, coming up, we're hopping into the Projects Middle Coast region in search of some pier and dock fun. But first, Dave Farrell and Bobby Lane, I can't say it any other way,
Bobby Lane.
are having some fun of their own at the Parts View Workbench for Rigs and Techniques, gentlemen.
Just stealing money. Gonna let Bobby do all the talking tonight.
You're good at that, Dave.
I'm good at it.
He is good at it.
I am excellent.
All right, we'll be back.
The Texas Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Yamaha. Reliability starts here. Ameritrail. Load, launch, relax. Fenwick. Feel everything. Bahio. Blue light blocking, radically clear polarized fishing sunglasses. Sportsman's Adventures with Captain Rick Murphy. Fishing for adventure. Berkeley. Your fish, our science. Prospect Smoked Meats. Fuel your day the Texas way. And Skeeter Performance Fishing Boats. Eat, sleep, fish.
Oh, here we are at the Parts View Workbench doing our Rigs and Techniques with Bobby Lane. He's a Parts View's pro staff as well.
Yep.
You know, matches up with our front up there, and a Major League Fishing pro, which got to be proud of that. It's not something that everybody gets to do is fishing pro for bass. So I really appreciate you coming out here. So we're actually talking about fishing docks.
We are.
So how do you go about it? Let's say you get on a lake, you've never fished this lake before. Docks are always a good place to start. How do you go about picking those docks and trying to choose which one to start with?
Absolutely, definitely. The docks in Texas are actually some of the easier docks because they're a lot bigger. And what I like to do is fire up my electronics. And this time of the year, we're transitioning into the fall a little bit. I like to find the ones with the steepest contour line on them.
Okay.
And that's easy to say, but sometimes the docks in Texas are so long and big, you don't know if it's coming out to 50 foot or actually coming out to about 10 foot. So you got to do a little idling around and looking, but I like to find the ones because we start to deal with early cold fronts. You know how it goes. Water temp's going to drop and come up. Those fish like to shift off easy into the deeper water, but then they'll move right back up when it gets hot again. So I like to fire up that electronics and really look for that sharpest contour line and approach it that way first.
So are you talking about where maybe where a boat would sit or just the because I like to fish under boats a lot. I know a lot of guys who own boats don't like us to fish under them. But are you talking about that contour of the maybe where a boat would be in and out?
Maybe where the middle of the dock is in 2 foot of water, and the end of the dock sits out in 15 foot of water.
I got you.
Where there's a sharper transition as opposed to a dock that's in 2 foot of water, and then the end of it's in 2.5 foot of water,
gotcha.
okay? Where you're more like you have that dock on a flat. I like a dock now that has a nice transition out to that deeper water.
All right. Does weather play a factor into where you're going to start, or like the wind and the currents and stuff?
Well,
or?
we always know it's going to be windy in Texas for sure. So
Yeah.
I actually like the wind can be your friend this time of the year, especially in this heat. What I like to approach them with is a bigger bait, like a swim bait style for sure.
Sure.
I love the Berkeley coal shad, man. This thing is a killer. I brought a few different colors here, but it's so hard to throw something else in the wind, right? And these Berkeley coal shads have an awesome clip built right in them underneath the body, and you can actually hear the hook when you take the hook out. If it's dangling like this, you know it's going to catch everything. When you put this Berkeley coal shad back in, you can hear that clip, and that hook lays like that, man. You can skip it way up underneath those docks. Them waves will be beating in on it. And the docks in Texas, a lot of them sit higher, so it's easier to get a bait under. And those big bass like big baits out there, and this Berkeley coal shad's definitely one of my favorites in the wind.
You also got some frogs up here. You know, that's probably my favorite thing to fish anytime, even around docks or not. But how do you like to go about fishing the docks with the frog?
Yeah, man. I mean, frogs are huge for me. I mean, born and raised down here in Florida, but spent a lot of my fishing career in Texas. I really have, and caught a lot of great big bass in Texas, and a lot of them have been on a frog, whether it's a popping frog or it's a walking frog. This is the Berkeley Swamp Lord. We have it in both sizes here, the popping and the walking frog. Comes with Fusion 19 hooks on it, which are really cool, man. They're super sharp. Like, it seems like if they bite it, you're going to catch them. But I like to maybe go away from the wind on this one, okay? I don't like throwing a frog when it's really, really windy out. I like to more approach a dock that's calmer. It has like maybe a little bit of grass around the edges or something. Like, where is a frog going to live, right? It's going to live near that grass, or it's going to live on a bank that maybe hasn't been mowed in a little while, where he can jump in that water. And when he jumps in the water, you know what happens. Them big bass come up and eat that frog. So I like the popping frog kind of more to imitate the bluegill. If you see a feeder on a dock, for sure, you know, we see a lot of that. You see feeders on docks, you know that dock's loaded with bluegills, right?
Yeah.
So we have a frog that looks just like a bluegill right here. This is one of our perch colored frogs. You can see the yellow, it looks like a bluegill. And I want to pop this thing on 50-pound braid, just a regular Veritas STX, just like this, man, and pop that thing coming under that dock. It's a slower presentation, but that popping noise is kind of like that bluegill coming up and getting that bait that owner's been throwing out.
Okay.
And then on the walking frog, of course, if there's grass or something matted, I like to crawl this walking frog across this. This is such a killer technique, man. Frog, and I got the chills just talking about this, because I want to get out and catch one on a frog. But yes, man, I'm huge into frogs, and those are two of my absolute favorite ways to catch fish on docks.
Next, you've also got some stick baits out here. Or how are you fishing those? Are the little finesse and stick baits? Are you doing wacky rigs? Or?
I do. I got the Berkeley Power Bait Max Scent General here. Two of my favorite colors, like Matt Reed was saying earlier, green pumpkin's a killer. Texas, anywhere you go, even in Florida, green pumpkin's a killer. And then I brought ones that's a little special color. I actually love this one myself. This is black and blue with blue tip, and this imitates the perfect bluegill. Green pumpkin does an amazing job, but what I like to do with this, of course you can Texas rig this bait, no problem at all, but wacky rig, keep this thing simple. You're just gonna put a size 1 hook right in the middle of this. So when that thing sinks down, those fish can't resist. When you get those slick, calm conditions and those fish are not so active, you really want to key in on them. This wacky worm's a killer.
This is my favorite one. I like this KO Assassin, and I put a little tiny circle hook with a weight on it in the middle of it, so I can throw it a little further. And that thing just boing, 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 boing. It's a beautiful thing.
The bass can't resist it,
They can't.
they?
As soon as
when nothing's working,
that wacky
rig always works. That's guaranteed.
That was awesome, man. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
It went too fast. We could have talked a lot longer.
We sure could have, and I love talking fishing.
Beautiful.
And it shows.
Yeah, it does. You know, Bree, he talked about black and blue. When you go fishing with Bobby Lane, that's how you come home. You're all black and blue from all the rods and all the fish you catch.
That's a good thing.
I've
Bobby's
experienced it
staying in his
myself.
lane,
Big fish
man.
Bobby.
He's in his lane.
That's
All right,
it.
the Project's Middle Coast region is the perfect place to drop your line off a pier or dock. So let's check in with Bink and see what we might find. Hello, Bink.
Hello. Hey, fishing piers and docks is a popular method in Matagorda. The Colorado River holds a lot of trout and redfish, especially during the winter. Our homeowners along the riverfront all have piers and lights and spend many nights under the moon making casts. This solid fishing, it actually drives our real estate economy. Some may not know it. I own Sunrise Lodge and fish in the morning, but in the evening, I broker. I own Sunrise Properties, sell a lot of coastal waterfront farm and ranch properties. Some of my best sales pitches to Matagorda clients is the great fishing that you can catch off the waterfront piers. I often get this question, does it have a pier we can fish when offering Matagorda rentals? Our pier fishing is just an important part of our economy and just a staple for us. This week in the trout, cooler temperatures this week gave us some relief. We're going to hunt teal starting this weekend and then fish the afternoon. The nearby jetty area has been good for trout on live shrimp. Some have waded the backside of the jetty with calm winds. Scattered trout have been good around Surfside and Freeport Jetty on mirror lures and live shrimp. The high tides in Rockport have put trout on the shorelines. Low pressure in the Gulf caused a good bite on topwaters and corkies. Spots like Super Flats and Allen's Bight have held good trout over sand and grass. West Matagorda Bay has been hot for trout while wading. Good numbers of trout have been found around Palacios. We've had these north winds in the morning, then Tres Palacios Bay and the backside of Oyster Lake. East Matagorda Bay has been green with these light September winds. We've been catching fish in 5 to 6 foot of water. Topwaters have worked well, mirror lure topwaters, and then drifting with gulps. Spots like Boiler Bow, Don's Pipeline, and Alice are holding good numbers of trout and Gulf trout. Live shrimp's been working well, but the go-to bait has been the Berkeley Gulp. There's a photo. That's Catfish Koshik. We call that Owen Koshik. He caught that fish early this summer on a Sangria Gulp. He actually caught a bigger fish about 2 days ago and couldn't get the picture to you before we went to press, but he caught it right off the dock again.
Nice.
So it was a perfect time for him. 6-pound trout off the dock on a Sangria Gulp.
Nice.
Perfect.
Redfish action. Full redfish has been found along the beachfront from Surfside to Port O'Connor. All the jetties are a player. The Surfside, Freeport, and Matagorda jetties are holding lots of redfish on cracked blue crabs, mullet, and fresh table shrimp. Port O'Connor jetties full of big reds while drifting in front of Bird Island, soaking menhaden, large table shrimp on that moving tide. Waders have found a good redfish bite in West Matagorda Bay on the south shoreline on bass assassins, casts, points, and shells. As always, this time of year, slot size redfish are starting to bunch up in groups of 24 or more. Spots like Shell Island, Twin Island, Cutoff Flat, Zipper and Bow are good spots. Mud Lake and Crab Lake are also players with live shrimp. Never discount this Port Aransas jetty for these redfish. High tides on the flats nearby around Pelican Island and East Flats have been players as well. Offshore action, tarpon continue to be found along the beachfront, especially in Port O'Connor. Anglers drifting menhaden, large live shrimp, finger mullet, and deep diving swim baits have found 5 to 10 fish a day. Large schools have been rolling the Port O'Connor jetty in about 60 to 70 foot of water. Most are spotting those fish and then trolling ahead of it and offering a bait to them. Guys are throwing coon pops, on circle hook and doing real well. Expect our tarpon fishing to improve through October, and it's just been pretty good. We've had some good offshore action out there. We've been able to chase those tarpon. It's hard to beat the Project's Middle Coast region. Hard to beat a Project's ribeye. I grilled one last night. It was unbelievable. It's a blessing to live on the coast in Matagorda. Call America our home. Just keep taking care of our fisheries, please.
All right, thank you so much, Bink. We're going to go and take a look at the mirror lure hotspots from the Middle Coast region. Bink says trout are good at Allen's Bight on mirror lure soft deans and bass assassin. The redfish are biting in Oyster Lake and Crab Lake on live shrimp, and then tarpon. They're showing up on the beachfront.
And there you have it. All right, coming up September 27th, get ready to fish for a cause from any state for the Red Trout Go Live Tournament, a special Facebook Live event benefiting the treatment and recovery of Captain Jeff Page. Join anglers from all over the country and compete for the largest redfish up to 9 pounds and the single heaviest trout, all for a great cause and an absolute legendary captain. Scan the QR code on your screen for more info, just to donate and also to get registered.
So guys, listen, get signed up for the tournament. It's on the 27th and make it real easy for you. If the wind's blowing, you don't want to go, just consider that sign up or that entry fee as a donation to a guy who really needs help, because the treatment center where he's going it doesn't take insurance. So it's cash out of pocket. And as you guys know, in the medical field, it doesn't go very far. So
If you're fishing, you might as well fish for a cause.
that's right.
Right?
And even if you aren't, consider your entry fee a donation.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
We're seeing what the pier and dock life is like in the Startron Middle Fresh and Phillips Upper Coast region when we come back. So start getting your gear together. And remember, there's always more to see beyond the show. So scan that QR code to connect with us, from bonus tips and full reports to fishing videos and, of course, merch. It's all just a click away. We'll be right back.
The Texas Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Bass Assassin and Saltwater Assassin, the best lures, period. Berkeley, your fish, our science. Murphy's Law Sport Fishing. Book your trip today at murphyslawsportfishing.com. Abyss Battery. Power your pursuit. Rodan. Set it, forget it, catch more fish. Phillips. Building the infrastructure that safeguards our future. Berkeley Pro Spec Chrome. And Penn. Let the battle begin.
Welcome back, everyone. The Startron Middle Fresh region is loaded with piers to set up on. So let's see what tips Matt Loescher has for us on Toledo Bend, Sam Rayburn, hello, Lake Granbury, and more. What's up, Matt?
Hey, everybody. Yep, we've got a lot to talk about with the docks and piers theme this week. The Middle Fresh region is full of good places to hit for that. It's a very popular method for catching all kinds of fish here in the Middle Fresh region. And we have some lakes that are just full of docks. We have some that have almost no docks. And then, then there's a bunch of private ones and some public ones, all kinds of stuff. So if you want to find a good public fishing pier near you, the first tip I'll give you is to check with your local tourism commission or the Texas Parks and Wildlife. They can usually point you in the right direction. They have most of that information online. Of course, I can't list everyone during the show, but I do want to point out a few good public fishing piers that I know of and give you some quick tips for how to catch fish there. So most of the lakes that I report on regularly have some good options like Toledo Bend, Sam Rayburn, and Lake Granbury, just to name a few. But whether you're on a private dock or a public dock this time of the year, it's really all about the shade or the light if you're fishing at night. And I would certainly recommend fishing at night this time of the year because it's a great way to beat the heat. And then, of course, you can really draw those fish in with lights. Now, if you're interested in doing some of that night fishing, one thing you need to do is make sure the dock you're interested in fishing is open at night because sometimes some of the parks that they're in close after dark, and then others are open 24/7. And then on the light side of things, if it's already got lights, that's great, makes it easier. But if it doesn't have lights, you can always bring your own floating light with a battery too, and create your own scenario that way. And then as for baits, I'll talk bass first. Keep it super simple. A black worm is the absolute best bait I know of at night. They bite it every night, all the time. It's just super consistent. During the daytime, you can go to a lighter colored worm and then focus on the shade more underneath the docks. For the crappie, you're gonna wanna fish a minnow or a jig, just like you would in the daytime. You might go to a darker color on the jig, and then you're gonna wanna focus on the heart of the shade. If you're fishing during the daytime, those crappie really like to pack in those shady spots, or on the edges of the light at night. Just keep it super simple, focusing on those shade edges or the edges of the lights at night, and you can be very successful fishing that way here in the Middle Fresh region. And one last tip I'll give you, especially for this time of the year, is to look for the docks that have the deepest water around. If you don't know how to do that, you can just cast a line out with a weight and just count it down, see how long it takes to hit the bottom, cast around and find the best deep water docks. And I've got a photo for you of some of my best dock fishing buddies there. I've got Fisher and his grandfather there with a nice crappie they caught on his dock. So that's a good example of what I'm talking about right there.
I love the peace sign.
That's a
Yeah,
great
Fisher.
example. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Tell me about the largemouth, boss.
All right, let's talk largemouth for a minute. Not too much has changed from last week to this week. The weather's been pretty consistent, and so has the fishing. Here on Toledo Bend, the water levels continue to come down and a little bit every day. The temperature's staying in the 80s now. That's come down just a little bit. Those factors have the fish congregated around the channel bends and on deep humps and road beds. Shad are still the key for finding the numbers. Find those big concentrations of shad on your sonar, or in the morning or late in the evening, you can see them rippling at the surface. The bass are gonna be nearby. They're biting worms and topwater plugs the best. Crankbait bite's still there, but it's a little bit hit or miss because they're not running that current like they had been last week. Over on Sam Rayburn, it's back to a slow but steady decline there as well, with no considerable rainfall recently. The water temperature's hanging in the 80s. Bites mainly in the drains where the shad are congregated and on a few deep points as well. The bite there is back to a worm and a topwater plug as well. The fish will let you know when to throw that topwater, so just keep your eyes and your ears peeled for that action, and they'll let you know when they start coming up. Get it right to them quickly. Now let's go up to Lake Granbury to finish out. That lake is still full level. I'm hearing that the bite is good right now. It's at the mouths of the creeks. Soft plastic worms and crankbaits have been the best this week. And then this time of year, you always want to have that topwater ready, just because that's always a possibility, especially early in the mornings and late in the evenings. That's been happening some on Granbury too. So use that and have good luck out there this week.
All right, bud, thank you so much. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at the Rodan Marine Systems hotspots from the Middle Fresh region. My man says, oh, it's good to see you back, bud. Okay, we had a minute of trying to find you. But we're gonna say bye now. We're gonna take a look at the Rodan Marine System. Thank you so much, Matt. He says the soft plastic worm, it's hard to beat on Toledo Bend, Sam Rayburn, and Lake Granbury this week. Fish it slow and have a topwater plug ready for those blow-ups in case the bass come up to the top.
And like Bobby Lane said, docks with deep water is your key.
It.
All right, the Phillips Upper Coast region has plenty of pier and dock opportunities for you to take advantage of. So let's see what species we can get our hands on with Mickey Eastman. What's up, Mickey?
Hello. Yeah, Upper Texas coast, man, we've got some really great opportunities for people to fish off of piers and docks, and all these opportunities along the beachfront and the bay systems. Texas City Dike, that's the most popular spot on the Upper Coast. That's a over a 5 mile long fishing pier, basically. You can drive all the way out to the end of it. It's walkable rocks and piers and docks along the way with numerous species of inshore fish to fish for. And getting to Galveston Bay, speckled trout. Trout fishing right now, it's kind of fair overall with fall approaching and these fish moving northward. They're kind of, spread out, and it's a little bit inconsistent right now, but the guys that know what they're doing, they're really catching good trout on topwaters and soft plastics in about 2 to 3 feet of water over shell, near drains and guts with good tidal flow. Deep well pads in the lower Trinity Bay and Galveston Bay area, 7 to 10 feet of water. They're catching fair numbers of specks with Little Johns, Bass Assassins, live shrimp. Early morning hours are the best. Water temps cool down a little to 86 degrees, and water clarity is green. Sabine Lake, pretty much the same. Speckled trout are being caught over shell in 6 to 8 feet of water at the low end of the lake and the south levee and north levee walls. The trout bites fair under, slicks, shad balls, and diving gulls. These fish are moving north up that levee to the top end of the lake or bottom end, From Pleasure Point to Barrel Channel Cut, look for slicks and birds in about 5 to 6 feet of water. Water temp 86 and green. This week's speckled trout photo, Captain Cliff Webb with a very nice topwater speckled trout. And redfish, Galveston redfish action has been fair to good on the South Jetty. Live shrimp, cut mullet, gulp shrimp. Fish them tight to the rocks early, move out on the ledges later. Bull redfish, they're showing up shallow along the beachfront, jetties, and Texas City Dike. And redfish run is fixing to really get kicked in. And redfish tight to the shorelines in Trinity Bay, they're being caught on gold spoons and small topwaters. Sabine Lake redfishing, it's been starting to heat up in open water Main Lake under shad balls and diving gulls. Middle of the day, when that water glass is off, always look for that. Topwaters and soft plastics are best. And back lakes, bayou ledges, and river ledges, near drains and points, they're holding really good fair numbers of rad and slot reds, gold spoons, square bill crankbaits in a shad pattern, and Bass Assassin paddle tails and chartreuse colors. They're working the best. Water clarity is fair and 86 degrees. And this week's photo, redfish with Captain James Flogg and his crew, some beautiful reds are holding up there. And then offshore, fishing in the Gulf, it continues to be good. With snapper season just closed, but numerous catches of multi-species coming in. Marlin, sailfish, dolphin, ling, blackfin tuna, amberjack, kingfish are all being caught consistently, and target those shrimp boats for best blackfin action. That's according to Captain Sharky Marquez with Outcast Charters in Galveston. And tarpon sharks and bull redfish action, that's eating up all along the Upper Coast beachfront, according to James Flogg with Silver King Adventures. And this week's offshore photos, you have a red snapper. That's courtesy of Outcast Charters, and Captain Sharkey and crew with a bruiser of an amberjack.
That sure is a bruiser.
Wow.
You know what, Mickey? So I got a couple questions for you. You're talking about those trout migrating north. Where do you think that they're going to end up here in another 30 days or so? Got any idea?
Close to river mouths, bayous, and a lot of our shrimp crop starts coming out after we start pulling northers, and those shrimp will come out into the bays. Bird action will pick up and go crazy, especially in October and November. And then wade fishermen, they'll be reaping the rewards of better fish along the shorelines, along grass flats and bayou drains and guts, humps, shell ridges, whatever structure you can find, they'll be there.
All right, man. That's some great advice. Thank you so much. Don't forget, guys, to be looking for the slicks as well. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the hot spots in the Upper Coast region. The deep reefs and the gas well pads are good for speckled trout around the Ship Channel, East Bay, Trinity Bay, and the Upper Galveston Bay. The Boulevard surf and the Galveston surf are good for tarpon, bull reds, and sharks, and slot reds are plentiful along those shallow flats.
All right, well,
I'm
there's
getting all choked up about how
I
good
tell, I
his
was ready
report
to
was.
jump in.
Holy
All right, well,
moly.
there's a lot of fall talk, but it is still summer, and summer is the perfect time for some Yamaha Repower finance offers. From now until September 30th, 2025, purchase a new eligible Yamaha outboard to get rates as low as 6.99% for 72 months when financed through Yamaha. For purchases made on the Yamaha credit card, get intro rates as low as 2.99% for 36 months, then 15.99% to 23.99% APR thereafter. Visit YamahaOutboards.com for complete details. But we've got one more expert guide to check in with in the Upper Fresh region for your weekend dock excursions. But first, we're seeing what our new product expert Dave has for us at the Parts View Workbench.
I've got all kinds of cool stuff. I've got luggage, I've got sunglasses, I've got fly line.
Oh man,
He's got an empty
he's
chair
got it
too.
all. He's got an empty chair with Bobby
But I'm
Angle.
coming in hot, Dave.
We'll be back.
The Texas Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Abu Garcia, Fish to Win, Fenwick, Feel Everything, Berkeley Pro Spec Chrome, Heroes on the Water, Paddle, Fish, Heel. Turn on the bite anytime. Tie on a Mirrolure. Front Runner Boats, performance-built offshore fishing boats made in the USA. And Startron, start, run, and store with Startron.
Today's Power Pull tip is about the new Power Pull View 4.2-inch touchscreen display. The Power Pull View is sleek, low profile, and controls all your Power Pull products from one device right here on my dash. The first tab is my anchor tab. I can run my Power Pull anchors up and down. I can also adjust my speed setting from fast, medium, and slow. The next tab over is my charge tab. I can see the voltage of all my trolling motor batteries and my engine battery. I can also adjust the priority if I want more power to the trolling or more power to the engine right here from the display. And if my motor won't start, I can even initiate an emergency start. And the last tab is the Power Pull Move screen. We took the Power Pull Move remote and put it right here on a touchscreen, so you're used to all the great controls. But the big thing I like is I can even see the head of the trolling motor right here on the screen. We all know people like to stand in front of the trolling motor while you're fishing, and now I can see the direction that the trolling motor is going. To learn more about the Power Pull View, go to powerpull.com, and that's your Power Pull tip.
So it's time here at the Parts View Workbench to troll the edge with Taco Marine's new product, Dave.
Yes, sir.
So let's talk a little bit about this beautiful AFCO bag.
That is a cool bag. It's the Expedition duffel bag from AFCO. It's built for the boat life and designed for travel. It's a 50-liter capacity, and it's pretty much your go-to gear bag. You can just put anything you want in it. It's made from rugged 840D ballistic nylon. It's got a polyurethane backing for water resistance and durability. It's got that top clamshell opening so you can get access to everything in one big compartment. And it's got all these internal dividers and pockets there so you can put all your stuff in it. It also has what I like is an isolated lower compartment that you can put a lot of your dirty
Wet.
clothes, your shoes,
Wet
stuff. Exactly, it goes all in there, so it keeps it away from all your clean stuff. And it's got multiple grip handles all the way around it, so any way you want to carry it, you can carry it. It also has a little tuck away back straps on the other side there, so
Right.
that you can pull out and use it for as a backpack. You can use
Come
the whole
on,
thing.
come
Yeah,
on.
You can use the whole thing as
All
a
right,
backpack.
I'm going to tighten this up. We're going to check this backpack. All right.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it'll work.
I like it.
Yeah, and it also comes with this a removable crossbody shoulder strap as well.
Huh.
If you don't want to, be the backpack guy.
I'm a backpacker.
I am too. AFCO.com keeps my hands free so I can pop somebody if I need to.
Thanks for sharing that.
ScientificAnglers.com. This is a amplitude textured bass bug fly line. This is made for bass fishing. It's a 2-size heavy line, so which means it's a little. They size it 2 sizes up because it's made to throw big stuff and turn over big flies. The first, this is the first series of fly line that has the revolutionary AST plus slickness additive, and it just makes the line shoot farther and cast a lot longer. It's got a floating texture on the tip section so that it stays up real high in the water, good for topwater bugs and stuff. And it's got a really shooting texture on the running line for those long casts.
You know what I love about Scientific Anglers is they've gotten so scientific that they actually now build a fly line for a fishing scenario. So you got bonefish lines, you got bass lines, you got shark lines, you got billfish lines. They really are very, very creative in their lineup of lines.
And that has a braided monofilament core. So
and where do we go to buy it?
ScientificAnglers.com.
Okay.
Next we have this Soldado. It's a teardrop-shaped aviator. And the aviator frames are probably the most endearing style in the world. Ever since Tom Cruise wore those things in Top Gun, everybody's got to have them. So, this is the medium wrap aviator. It's got top tier hinges and flexible nose pads that are designed to keep your hair out of it, especially for the ladies. The ladies get their hair blowing around and gets caught up in those hinges and whatnot.
I'm going way out here. I'm going way out. What do you think?
They don't look bad.
What do you think, Bree? Much better. Much better with that.
These are
come on now. Come on now. Just come on now. Look, with no sky piece, look at it.
Hollywood.
Look at it. Come on.
4 frame colors. Light green glass matte is that new color there. 7 lens colors. And, of course, they come with lapis blue light blocking.
And the best warranty in the business.
And there you go.
If I don't say so myself.
Hypoallergenic stainless steel. BahiaSunglasses.com.
All right.
Next, we have TH Marine Supply's dual flow motor flusher. It's an essential tool for boat owners wanting to keep their outboard motor corrosion free. It's quick and easy to flush out salt, sand, and any other debris that you got in there. It's compatible with most outboard motors, and it's got that dual water feed. Water's coming in on both sides.
Yeah, both sides.
Yeah, so for max efficiency. So also comes with a cool disconnect, a male disconnect, if you want to put that on there, so you can just pop it on and off.
And where do we go to get it?
THMarineSupplies.com to get
All right,
that
come
cool
on,
thing.
Bree, come in
Richard
here and try.
Murphy, you take these off right now and give them
let
to
me
me
see.
because
Let me
we
see.
are going home with these, and I will leave these here.
Hot damn, boy. Hot damn. That's what it's supposed to be right there, guys.
This is what I wear.
Forget my stuff.
Soldados are everything. All right, our guide is a huge fan of the docks and piers in the Upper Fresh region. So let's hear what tips he has for us to make our trip a success. Straight out of Studio T. Studio T. Hi, Mike. What's going on? You like these glasses on me or what?
Full of laughs, and those glasses belong on you.
Thank you.
That's
so
right.
much.
Yes,
Tell him, boy.
Hey, love you guys. Great to be here. Dave, guys, nice to be here. Doc, this theme is my favorite. I love it, and it's really cool because that's exactly what we're doing on Lake Fork. You're going to hear my bass report right now. But let's tell you about Lake Levant. Kerry Thorne says the bass are in 5 to 20 feet on rock and concrete structures, such as boat ramps, riprap, bridges, bridge corners. The white chartreuse spinnerbait, you know Kerry loves that. It catches fish in the morning. So a half-ounce Berkeley spinnerbait grade. Go to the square bill, the Berkeley square bill in crawfish colors, believe it or not, which is unusual for fall. But go to that after 8 or 9, that bite stops off that spinnerbait. Some of the fish are real tight, hugging the bank in 2 feet. Some are a little bit off. But generally, once that sun really gets high, you got to go soft plastics. Berkeley soft plastics on shaky heads, trick worms, any of that type of stuff, you'll do well. Ray Hubbard, Joe Shipley, he says that temps are mid-80s, fish are shallow, chasing bait, like buzz baits, spinner baits around rock and hard areas, kind of like Lake Levon. Once the sun gets up, switch to those creature baits. There's nothing like the max scent creature baits, I promise. Tawakoni, great frog bite in the backwaters around vegetation. If you are around vegetation, you're not around bass. So find those lily pads, find that green vegetation. Black frogs seem to be best, black and yellows. And they're also catching some on some weightless Bass Assassin vapor shad Todd baits, using them weightless Texas rig on the edges of the vegetation. Here's Fork, and this goes with our theme. You know, most of our lakes in the upper fresh region are full of docks and piers, and Lake Fork really has a lot of them. And right now, man, you can fish in between the docks with small Berkeley spinner baits, small Fritz Sight 5 square bills, small poppers like the Berkeley Bullet Pop in 70. I mean, you can catch a lot of fish when they're active. When they're not, you go to the docks. Flip those docks with any one of the Berkeley Creature Baits series. Green pumpkins, the green pumpkin orange colors are best, but you will be surprised at how many fish live on those docks. And honestly, you can even skip like a Bass Assassin fluke type style bait up underneath those docks. Best colors always for me, again, watermelon, green pumpkins, watermelon red. But the docks are the best thing to fish. And here's a really nice couple pictures of Lake Fork specials. I love these little fall fat fish that we get. They're very healthy.
Nice. All right.
Love them big smiles. So let's talk about some crappie fishing. Terry Thorne, he says the crappie on Levon, you're finding them between 10 and 18 foot. 15 to 18 seems to be the sweet spot, but make sure you're looking through that 10 to 18 foot. Doesn't matter the color, just get it on their face with the live scopes and you will catch your limit. 2-man limits are pretty easy to catch. Moving on to stripers and hybrids. Lake Levon again with Terry Thorne. White bass are in about 10 to 15 foot of water. They're on the points and ledges in the main lake. The white and chartreuse slab spoons, 1 ounce, are really good. And as always, he will tie that hair jig about 18 inches above and catch 2 fish at a time. He does say that a thumper or a splasher, which will make noise out of your boat, or if you have to get a stick and thump the bottom of your boat, that will bring a lot more fish to the boat. And it's really unique to see that happen. You think you're making noise and scaring everything, and for whatever reason, you bring the whole school of whites to the boat. So try a thumper or a splasher. And then here is Terry Thorne. We haven't used a lot of pictures from him, and I apologize to him, but I love to put this up right here. Here's Terry Thorne with some big old table of them white bass out of Levon.
Nice job, bud.
Shabby.
Yeah.
Tell us about the catfish quick.
Too. Yeah, we got it. Lake Levon again. I love Terry Thorne. He says the bigger ones are starting to bite, 10 foot of water, putt bait. And then if you go to the stink baits and things, you'll get more of the smaller channel catfish. And here's a quick table of those kitty cats. Fill your freezer.
All right, man. Thank you so much. Great report this week. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the hot spots in the upper fresh region, bud. Thank you, Mike. We appreciate you very much.
Love you. See you next week.
Okay, so the hot spots are Lake Tawakoni. Keep the hot seat this week, offering some great early morning hybrids and striper fishing. Literally 30 minutes to get your limit, and the rest of the day, catch and release. Big bass are also biting around the lily pads, making Lake Tawakoni a great destination to go fishing. I can't talk with my
I know, you got a mouthful of Prosex.
Listen, you stole my snack over here. All right, well, it's time for... Yes, Rick, go ahead.
Wait a minute. Just give me 1 second. You know, Dave, the one thing that was happening is when we have Bobby Lane, he's talking about all the pure fishing products.
Right.
And you know what? We can't go without talking about the Bass Assassin Bang Big.
The new Bang Bug.
The Bang Big Bug.
Yeah, deposit slip. That's called the deposit slip, the color.
I know that you just caught a monster fish.
Yes.
On one of these.
Yes, I did.
How do you like to rig it quickly?
Well, I rigged it on a tiny jig head is what I did.
And you just threw it out and bumping it along, bouncing the bottom.
Bouncing on the bottom.
B&B fishing, bouncing the bottom.
Correct.
Not be mistaken for.
Love that thing. Love it.
All right, well, you can have the show back now.
Oh, I can't? Oh, gee.
Not to be mistaken for bouncing her bottom.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah.
So as we wrap things up, we're going to take a look at Seize the Social, but we need a little snack to get us through this. It's not popcorn, but way better with Prosex. Let's see it.
All right.
Windy here today. Oh, yeah, it's not a worm bite. Giant. It's not a worm bite, turns out.
Giant.
Oh,
giant.
So
the guy that,
it's a giant.
So the guy in the front thinks he caught a big one.
Oh my God!
It is a giant.
Giant.
Wait, let's see it.
It's like he said, it is a giant.
Now, that's how you upstage your friend while the GoPro's running by.
Oh my God, that scream is everything. That is pure
He
joy.
was very excited.
Thanks for joining us all
Hey,
today.
project,
Go catch those bass off those piers and docks, and we'll see you next week. Cheers to the project.